On August 14, 1981 in New York City, Dominic "Sonny Black" Napolitano entered the Motion Lounge bar in Brooklyn. Before leaving, he handed the bartender the keys to his apartment, a wad of cash, and his diamond-encrusted rings. Taking a deep breath, he made a chilling remark, "I'm going to a meeting. I don't know if I'm coming back." He never did. That day, Sonny Black was executed for allowing an undercover FBI agent to infiltrate the Mafia's inner circle. That agent was Joe Pistone, though the Mafia knew him as Donnie Brasco. For 6 years, Pistone operated under the guise of a jewel thief, gaining the trust of one of New York's most powerful crime families, the Bonanno family. He attended meetings, facilitated deals, and came close to being inducted as a made man, all while secretly gathering intelligence for the FBI. His undercover operation resulted in over 200 convictions, exposed the Mafia's internal operations, and delivered a significant blow to organized crime. His work remains one of the most successful undercover stings in FB1 history. The birth of Donnie Brasco. It all began in 1976. New York City was in the midst of a wave of truck hijackings, with high-value cargo being stolen and resold by the Mafia. To combat the rising crime, the FBI needed someone on the inside, an agent who could track the fences, the middlemen responsible for moving stolen goods. That agent was Joe Pistone. With 15 years of undercover experience, Pistone was the ideal candidate. Having grown up in an Italian-American neighborhood in New Jersey, he understood the Mafia's culture, how they talked, how they acted, and how they conducted business. To embed him into the underworld, the FBI created a cover identity, Donnie Brasco, a low-level jewel thief looking for connections. His objective was simple but dangerous: gain the trust of the hijackers. But infiltrating the Mafia wasn't as easy as walking into a mob hangout and introducing himself. That was a surefire way to end up in a dumpster. Instead, Pistone played the long game. He moved into a small Manhattan apartment, leaving his wife and children behind, and spent months frequenting mob-controlled bars and restaurants. He ordered drinks, ate meals, and made himself a familiar presence. For 6 months, he barely spoke to anyone, carefully observing and waiting for an opportunity. Infiltrating the Bonanno family. Through Gilly Greco, Pistone was introduced to Tony Mira, a major drug dealer with deep Mafia connections. Through Mira, he met Lefty Ruggiero, a feared mob hitman with over 23 confirmed kills. And through Lefty, he met Sonny Black. Sonny Black wasn't just another wise guy. He was a high-ranking capo in the Bonanno crime family, with his own crew of soldiers and associates. He took a liking to Donnie Brasco, seeing him as a valuable earner, and before long, Pistone was in deep. Every day, he sat inside the Motion Lounge in Brooklyn, blending in as mobsters openly discussed their criminal operations, extortion, drug deals, hijackings, and even connections with corrupt politicians and cops. For the first time in history, the FBI had a man embedded inside a Mafia crew. But Pistone wasn't just listening. He was actively gathering names, making connections, and mapping out the entire Bonanno family's power structure. He became so trusted, so embedded in their world, that the unthinkable happened. The Mafia was considering making him a made man. That's right. An undercover FBI agent was on the verge of full initiation into one of the most powerful crime families in New York. That's when the FBI pulled the plug. After 6 years of deep cover, living a double life, Pistone was ordered to walk away. The mission had gone further than anyone ever expected, and the risk of discovery was too great. If the Mafia found out who he really was, his life wouldn't be the only one at stake. His wife and children could become targets too. The undercover agent who fooled the Mafia. Imagine living every single day knowing one mistake could get you killed. That was the reality for FBI agent Joe Pistone, better known by his undercover alias, Donnie Brasco. What he pulled off wasn't just rare. It was unheard of. A federal agent infiltrating one of the most powerful Mafia families for 6 years? That was the kind of thing you only saw in movies. But this was real, and it changed organized crime forever. A rising star in the Mafia, Pistone had worked his way deep into the Bonanno crime family, gaining the trust of key players. At first, he was under the wing of Lefty Ruggiero, a veteran gangster who treated him like a little brother. But soon, he caught the eye of someone even more powerful, Dominic "Sonny Black" Napolitano, a capo, or captain, in the Bonanno family. Sonny liked Donnie so much that he wanted him to head a new operation in Florida. And for Pistone, this wasn't just a promotion. It was a gold mine of intel. With direct access to a Mafia captain, he was getting information the FBI could have only dreamed of. Sonny was a stone-cold killer, no doubt about that. But Pistone saw another side of him too. They spent hours on the rooftop of Sonny's home, feeding pigeons, something Sonny was weirdly passionate about. He'd give Pistone full history lessons on pigeons, though Pistone admitted he never actually listened. But he played along because in the Mafia, trust meant everything. The pizza connection. With his newfound access, Pistone discovered something massive. The Bonanno family was running a heroin operation using pizza restaurants as a front. These weren't your average mob guys either. They were Sicilian immigrants, known as Zips, and they were ruthless. They imported drugs, laundered money, and even carried out murders for the family. The FBI launched a major investigation, but there was a catch. They couldn't make a move while Pistone was undercover. If his identity was exposed, he'd be dead in an instant. And speaking of threats, one was coming his way fast: a deadly rivalry. Remember Tony Mira? He was the first guy who introduced Pistone to the Mafia, and when Mira got out of prison, he was furious. He felt like Pistone had betrayed him by working under Lefty and Sonny instead. And in the mob, being on someone's bad side could mean a death sentence. Mira first tried to claim Pistone as his own guy, but Sonny refused. So Mira took things a step further. He accused Pistone of stealing $250,000 from a drug deal. That was a huge accusation. In the Mafia, stealing from the family was a one-way ticket to the grave. Now, Pistone was on trial in a Mafia sit-down, a meeting where high-ranking mobsters decided if someone lived or died. If they ruled against him, he wouldn't be walking out. Lefty and Sonny went to bat for him, arguing he was loyal. After hours of debate, Sonny won the sit-down. Pistone lived to fight another day, but Mira wasn't done. A close call and a fatal mistake. In 1981, Pistone's cover was nearly blown in the most ridiculous way possible. He had once borrowed a luxury boat from the FBI to impress some mobsters on a fishing trip. Months later, a Newsweek magazine article came out exposing an FBI sting operation. The article featured a photo of that exact same boat. Lefty saw it and immediately confronted Pistone, but Pistone, quick on his feet, spun a story about borrowing it from a woman's brother. Somehow, Lefty bought it. Another bullet dodged. Then something even crazier happened. Sonny Black wanted to officially induct Pistone into the Mafia. Becoming a made man was a big deal. It meant full membership, the ultimate trust. If Pistone got made, he'd have access to the most powerful criminals in the country. But there was a problem. To get made, you had to kill someone. The FBI couldn't let that happen. It would ruin their case and put Pistone in a position he couldn't escape from. When Sonny ordered him to track down and kill a rival, the FBI finally pulled the plug. After 6 years, it was over. The fallout 2 weeks later, FBI agents walked into Sonny's club and showed him a photo of Donnie Brasco standing alongside 3 federal agents. At first, Sonny refused to believe it, but reality sank in fast. And in the Mafia, bringing an undercover cop into the family was a death sentence. Sonny had a choice: cooperate with the FBI or face the consequences. He chose the Mafia. 17 days later, his prized pigeons were removed from his rooftop. That's when Pistone knew Sonny was dead. His body was later found in a river, his hands cut off as a warning to others. Lefty Ruggiero? He was next. The mob suspected he had vouched for an FBI agent and he was set to be executed. But before they could kill him, the FBI arrested him. He did 13 years in prison and died in 1994. Tony Mira, the guy who had tried to ruin Pistone, he was whacked by the Bonanno family, the legacy of Donnie Brasco. Joe Pistone's undercover operation led to over 100 Mafia convictions. His work dismantled the Bonanno crime family and changed how the FBI fought organized crime forever. The Mafia never saw it coming, and the crazy part? If they had trusted Mira instead of Sonny, Pistone probably wouldn't have made it out alive.